Hey guys, thank you so much for joining in. I can see there are 48 people, which is quite a lot. We will be talking about psychology, the fields in India and abroad, as I mentioned. We will also be talking about the different levels of study. I will be guiding you about the application process as well. I will also be giving you a time frame as to how early you should be starting and at what stage, what are the things you should be doing. Then I will also be helping you guys with selection of universities, which is again a very critical part. Specializations, whatever psychological specializations you guys are choosing, we can discuss and decide upon that as well. Documents, the exams, research papers, all of this. Then I will also be talking about the most important part, which is the money, in which we specifically will be talking about scholarships. Whatever degree you choose, whatever specialization you want to do at whatever level, be it bachelor's, master's, be it an MPhil program, be it a PsyD program or a PhD program, you will need a combination of all of these skills. It is not that you have to have all of these skills, but you'll have to have good communication skills. You should be well aware about the kind of research you can do, and depending upon which skill you really have a very good passion about, you will tend to go ahead and pursue that subfield in psychology. Just to give you some perks of studying abroad, because many people here are also looking for psychology options which are available in India. So I thought we'll just include what are the perks of studying abroad, which is you can get good job prospects. You can always learn not only theory, but where theory and practical application kind of a thing. Then you can also gain independence. You can also get to know a lot about different cultures, study different cultures. These are the few perks of studying abroad. Where can I study psychology? There are so many countries. There are some good universities in US, there are some good universities in UK. To be very frank, it actually depends upon what subfield you are choosing in psychology. It does not go like, I want to do a master's degree in psychology, so USA is the best country for me, or Germany is the best country for me. That is not how it goes. In psychology, I am more interested into counseling psychology, or I am more interested into social psychology. Depending upon that, the ranking of the university also changes. Choose your specialization first, choose what you want to study in psychology, and then select a country according to what you want to do, in which subfield you want to specialize. Yes, this is what I want to explain, because most of the people, as I mentioned, we have a mixed population. So that is the reason I need to explain the breakdown of the structure of education in India and abroad. This structure would slightly change depending on a few countries. For example, UK, which only has a 1 year master's program, whereas USA and other countries will have a 2 years master program. So if you're going for a bachelor's degree in psychology in India, it would anywhere range between 3 years to 4 years. USA generally has a bachelor's degree of around 4 years. Canada also has a bachelor's degree of around 4 years. It is approximately the same for rest of the countries as well. Moving forward to the master's degree in India is most probably it is a 2 year master's degree, and in US, whereas in USA and Canada it differs. So it is generally from 1.5 years to 2.5 years. The reason for putting diploma here was many a time students don't want to go into a very rigorous degree like a master's or a PhD degree. So people actually go only for a diploma degree abroad, which give you a good credibility of that particular course. Curriculum wise, a master's degree is a more rigorous degree, whereas a diploma will not have that. Diploma is just to add on to your knowledge. Speaking about PsyD and PhD programs, so PsyD is a very upcoming doctoral degree in psychology, which is becoming very famous. A PsyD degree is a doctor of psychology. A PhD degree is a doctor of philosophy degree. PsyD degree is mainly and heavily focused on clinical area, work in the clinical area, whereas the PhD degree is, on the other hand, is more focused into the research aspect. Speaking about India and abroad, PsyD is very popular abroad, especially in USA, Canada. PsyD generally goes for 4 to 6 years of time, but this is an approximate year range which I am telling you. Some people also complete it in 5 years, or some people also take 8 years to complete it. So it is very individualistic. Speaking about PsyD in India, There are, I think so, only two or three colleges, three universities in India who are currently offering PsyD programs. It has started to, the importance of a PsyD degree has slowly started to rise. What are some of the fields which you can definitely choose while you're looking at psychology? So, fields such as, I'm sure you guys must have not heard a lot of degrees which provide you sports psychology, fashion psychology, developmental psychology, social, criminal psychology, it's health psychology, business psychology. Business psychology is another booming field these days. Forensic psychology, experimental neuropsychology, educational psychology, child psychology. All of these things are very, very different from a basic clinical or a counseling psychology degree. Whenever you're looking at universities in India, I'm sure most of you would only find clinical counseling psychology degree, but abroad there's a huge scope and there are amazing universities with some amazing curriculum for these courses. There are loads of scholarships also available, fundings available, research opportunities available for the same. Now let's look at the documents. So when you're preparing an application package, whatever I would be telling you today will be a very, very crucial part of your application process. So these are the most important documents in your application. First of all, your CV resume. This is the most important document to give the person who is judging your profile, to give him a quick overview of who you are as a person, what are your past experiences. Moving to the next part, which is the letter of recommendation, which we also call it LOR. The LOR are something which your professor's boss at work will write for you. Recommendation letter just take the meaning by, it is just like a byword, meaning that somebody will recommend you to the universities. Moving ahead, the statement of purpose. So this is SOP is the most important document of your application. The whole question of why you are doing this will be explained by you in your SOP. So your SOP is the statement of purpose, the whole and sole purpose of why you are doing a particular degree. Coming to the next part, mark sheets and the transcript. So, my mark sheets is something which you definitely get from your university. Now, transcript is another thing. Transcript is something which you get from your university. University will put it on a piece of paper that these are your marks throughout a particular semester, and they will give a university stamp on that, saying that this is like an authenticate copy of your mark sheet. The GRE score, the SAT score, this is another. I will combine the IELTS score, TOEFL score into this only. So these are basically the tests which you need to take. Quickly telling you about this, if you're going for an undergraduate degree, that is, if you're going for a bachelor's degree abroad, then you need to take the SAT exam, which is for the undergraduate students. Whereas the IELTS or TOEFL is heavily loaded to understand your English speaking level, English speaking level, what kind of a level. The GRE exam for many people, it is a nightmare. The GRE exam is a nightmare. But to be very, very frank, if you were good at maths at your school level, 11, 12 standard levels, and I think so by brushing up on a few skills, you will be easily able to ace those exams. So, speaking about extra courses, and since the pandemic has started, I can see a lot of students are taking short courses on Coursera, Udemy, or they are completing some certifications here and there. So these are the courses I am talking about. So whatever extra courses you have taken, see to it that you have a valid authenticated certificate of these courses. Extracurricular activities, many students are into sports. They play sports at different levels, national, international levels. There are lots of fundings, lots of scholarships for students coming from these backgrounds. So this is just a process to explain you how well you should be starting your preparation for your degree. 10 to 12 months prior to your application deadline, you should be starting your research about universities. Once you research and finalize your universities, you see what are the requirements of that. Accordingly, you take the required tests. In the meanwhile, you can start preparing for your application. So the application package which I am talking about, you can start preparing for that. Emailing the professors is a different thing, and this is very, very specific to masters and PhD students. For master students, it is important. For PhD students, it is extremely important to email the professors, because that is how you land a PhD in psychology in USA or in Canada also. Moving ahead, then you prepare a checklist of universities and documents so that you just don't miss any document or You do not miss any requirement of a particular university. Then you wait for your admission decisions, and then you start with a visa application and housing. And after all, you go ahead and fly to your dream university. So this is one of the important questions that many students ask me: how do I select a program which actually fits me? So I will explain you how to select a program which I myself have used it, and it works for me. I'm sure it will also work for all of you as well. So these are the three techniques to, I would say, shortlist universities, to decide which university I should apply, which I should discard. First of all, you research for programs on your personal fit instead of ranking. I tell this to everybody, all of the people who reach out to me. So I always tell them that before looking for a ranking, try to look at the university's page, the departmental page. Every university abroad or in India has a department page wherein they mention uh, what are the courses you would be taking if you take up that particular bachelor's master's degree, what we would be studying in that. I will always recommend that what you can do is, I would suggest, go ahead and email them. Go ahead and email the advisors of that particular university. Sometimes the professors also respond to you in a very, very positive way. Then I will move on to the second part, which is fix a budget and shortlist university. Then I can go ahead and see whatever budget I have in my mind regarding tuitions and all that. I will see which university is fitting into that budget. Accordingly, I will discard the universities which are not fitting into my budget. Leveling of your university. So you always and always level your universities into three parts: your dream universities, your target universities, and your safety universities. Dream universities are the ones you can just go by the name. It's like dream universities. Maybe, to be very, very frank, you have less chance of achieving those, but you still want to give it a try. The target universities are the ones which are, you just have to put in small amount of hard work to reach those, but maybe 50-60% you will get those. And safety universities are the ones which you are very, very sure that you will get into it because you are sufficing all the requirement criteria, maybe even more than that. Yeah. So profile building, what are those extra things which you can add into your profile which will help you? Internships. Many students, like clinical psychology, counseling psychology, have a lot of internships, lot of internships scope which you can do. If you can link how that internship is helping you with the kind of course you are wanting to do, if you can create that bridge between the two, then the person who is, who is, I would say, checking your application package, feels that okay, this person, XYZ person, has done some internship, and he is showing me how that internship has helped that person to go ahead and apply for this course. So work experience, if you have work experience, that is fine. It is not mandatory to have work experience, by the way. Volunteering, yes, volunteering does help. Research papers will build your profile. They will definitely build your profile. But again, if you create a good link between those research papers, then and then only they will provide as a boon to your profile. Speaking about courses, I mentioned them before also. Whatever courses you are taking, be it from any particular institute or from an online platform such as Coursera, Udemy, mention them in a SOP in a proper manner and connect them to your SOP to build a strong profile. Money, as in how do you invest in a huge amount of money when you are studying abroad? What I have done here is, do not take this in the do not take this as an actual figure. This is it is a very rough approximate amount which I have put here, which I had used, like I had referred to, and it most of the times it aligns with somewhat here and there it would follow, but not exactly onto this. But to give you guys an idea of how it works, okay. So I've mentioned a few countries over here, specifically Australia, Canada, USA, UK, Ireland, New Zealand. These are the few countries wherein you can get an idea of the total tuition fee, which is on an annual basis. Then you can also get a living cost. So there is another huge thing apart from the tuition fees, which is the living and accommodation costs. That is how much that would cost. This is a rough approximate of that. Then how much post study work options are available. This is also important for psychology students to explore in US and any other country also. So this will give you an idea of that also. And speaking about part-time work available, this column will tell you how much part-time you can do. In the next slide, I'll explain you what kind of part-time jobs will you be open for. So I'll explain you that as well. But this is very, very rough idea of how much it would cost you, and basically the finances part. The part-time jobs are generally into two parts: the academic ones and the non-academic ones. Academic ones are most probably the graduate assistantship, research assistantship, or teaching assistantship, which many times you might have heard them in short forms, which we call it as GA, RA, TA. Whereas the non-academic jobs, they are not into your fields. You get a job as a, in a library. You can get a job. Food related jobs are the ones where students tend to work in cafes, restaurants. Residence hall are the places where students actually manage the student problems, resident problems, whatever issues the students are facing. Scholarships, yeah. So another form lessening the burden of these tuition fees and all of that is scholarships. But scholarships do not suffice the whole tuition fees, right? But that does not suffice your living costs. So that is the reason I have also provided a estimate of living costs. So that will be definitely helpful for you. To be very frank, these four are not only the scholarships. There are hundreds and thousands of scholarships available to Indian students going abroad to study. Speaking about jobs, these are some of the roles which you can play with a psychology degree. You can work as a social worker. Research gets paid a lot regardless of the country you go to, because research is something which is constantly getting upgraded. It does not become it does not become extinct or something. You always have something more to explore, right? HR, business psychology, advertising are some of the very, very upcoming jobs nowadays, because people are more into digital marketing and putting everything on social media, managing social media channels and all that. That is where your media and advertising would play a role, where you can predict behavior, media psychology, and all of that would. Business also, we spoke about business psychology. HR more into recruitment, testing, with the amount of tests that are available in the market to try and skim the candidate completely, to understand the in depth about that particular candidate. Yeah, apart from that, people also take up a particular small field in psychology, a very small aspect in psychology, such as communication, leadership, and they also become motivational speakers on that. They guide people on that. They take workshops, they take sessions. So you can also create a lot of connect with the people around you on the by taking these small aspects of psychology. Quickly glimpse through these things, because these are not a lot of important ones. But I've just listed out a few universities in USA, UK, Europe, and Canada, because these are the top four places where generally psychology students tend to go into. Also, if you see the universities, I've not only included the top universities, I've also tried to include a few mediocre universities, but which have really good courses under them. Speaking about Canada, Canada has amazing universities: University of Toronto, University of Montreal, University of Waterloo. In Europe, I want to specifically speak about Netherlands and Germany also. So Germany is a no tuition free state. So in Germany, you don't actually pay your tuition fees. You actually only pay for your living and accommodation. The one thing for Germany is that you need to know German language very well. Apart from that, Netherlands has some amazing research universities which give you good scholarships. So Radboud University, Tilburg University is amazing universities.